Hey everybody, it's me, Greg Bosson, CPA and president of QuickBooks Made Easy for Nonprofits, coming at you with our first of two tips, quick tips, for those of you using QuickBooks Online. This is the first tip for July of 2025, and I'm actually recording this on July 9th, and it's really hot. The air conditioner's not working so great here. Hopefully it is where you are. But anyway, so this tip is for those of you that want to track scholarship funds. This is a fund where donors give money to you, and then you use that money, you apply that money towards an invoice that you give a camp person that's registering for your camp or registering for your conference or registering for school. It's tuition. Anytime you're collecting money from others that you're going to use towards lowering the cost of entrance fees, tuitions, registrations, whatever, that's a scholarship fund, and I want to show you how to track it. Okay, so I did a webinar on tracking funds a couple of weeks ago, and I talked about how when it came to tracking funds, I wanted to use either locations or customer projects. When it comes to scholarship funds, I'm actually going to show you how to use subclasses. When it comes to most funds, I'm cool with using locations or customer projects. When it comes to a scholarship fund, I'd rather use a subclass, okay? So, and you'll see why, and I'll show you why as we go through. So, for those of you that have scholarship funds, are you ready? So let's do it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to obviously go into QuickBooks here. And if you go to the gear and you go to all lists, you're going to see your class list. So we'll go to the class list. I've already got it pulled up. Here it is right here. And you'll see what I've done is, if you've come to my other trainings, you know that we're going to use classes to track program versus admin versus fundraising, and then the actual programs will be underneath this program's parent class. What I've done is I've used a sub class, I guess because it's 2 levels down, called Scholarship Fund. And I made it underneath the Synergy Camp Conference. The conference, this is the activity from which I'll be using the funds. So I've created a subclass for it, okay? So that's the first thing that you'll want to do. You just click New and create it and make it a subclass of what you want it to make it a subclass of. I use these numbers to get the order to be the way I want to see them, okay? Because it's going to put them in this order, you know, based on alphabet, unless I put numbers, and it puts it in by number. So anyway, so that's the first thing. And then when money comes in, I'm going to point it to this subclass, and when money's used, I'm going to take it out of the subclass, and then I'll be able to see the balance, okay? So the second thing that you need to do is you need to add accounts in your chart of accounts. So first thing is I want to have 3 income accounts for my camp registrations. One of them I'm going to call Camp Registrations, Net. All right. And this is going to be a parent income account. I'm actually never going to point transactions to it directly. It's just a header account. And then underneath it, I'm going to have one called Gross Camp Registrations and one called Less Scholarship Used. There's going to be subs, okay? And I'm assuming you already know how to create accounts. Just go up to the top here, you click New, and then to make it a sub account, you click that, you just fill it out, whatever, okay? So hopefully you already know how to do that because you've taken some of my other trainings. If not, you need to. But anyway, so, all right. So what's going to go in gross registration is the real total gross cost of the registration before the scholarship's applied. And then what's going to go down here is the discount or the amount of the scholarship that's used. That way the person will see how much was used, and you'll also be tracking it for purposes of tracking your scholarship funds. Okay? So so far we have 3 income accounts here. Now we have a fourth. The fourth income account is in the equity section. We need an equity account called Scholarship Fund. And if you took my Tracking Funds webinar, which is available online if you didn't take it, we showed you how to create these equity accounts so that the person on the board that's getting a balance sheet will be able to see how much is in the scholarship fund at any given point in time. Okay? So the next thing that you want to do is, well, this is actually the last thing that you want to do. If you, and this only applies to some of you, if you have a third-party app that tracks your registrations and you're just kind of entering them in lump form, then you're done. You're ready to start tracking. You don't have to do this next step. But if you want to use QuickBooks to actually invoice the camp person or the student and have a document that you give them that shows them the gross and how much the discount is or whatever, maybe you discount it to zero. Or even if you don't give it to them, but you're just tracking this stuff within QuickBooks, you don't have a third-party app, then you're going to need to do one more thing. Okay, so far, everybody's going to have to create the subclass, and we're going to have to create 4 accounts, 3 income accounts and 1 equity account. If you are going to use the sales forms within QuickBooks, like invoicing, because you're not doing it in a third-party app, then you're also going to have to create a couple of products and services. One product service that points to this income account, and one product service that points to this income account. Because when you go to enter an invoice, and yours might say invoice or it might say pledge, but when you go to enter a transaction that's an invoice or a pledge, you can't put an income account. You have to put a product or service that points to an income account. If you don't know about this, you probably need some more training in QuickBooks. But anyway, so what I've done is I've gone to my items list, and to get to your items list, you basically, let me get it from the home page for those of you that are kind of babes in the woods here. You go to the gear, and you click on the gear, and here's products and services, and that's where you get to your product service list. And I've already got it pulled up right here. Okay, so as you can see, what I've done is I've created a category. Categories are just a way of grouping your product services. But I've created a category called the camp, and then I've got a product service that points called camp registration gross, and a product service called scholarship used. And the camp registration gross, I'm going to edit it, points to the income account, gross camp registrations. And then scholarship used, as you might have guessed, when I created it, I pointed it to the scholarship used income account. Okay, so hopefully you know how to create product services. You go to the top, you click plus, always make it a service, you name it, and here's where you point it to the income account. So you can just kind of think of products and services kind of substitute for income accounts. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the whole process. Okay. So the first thing that might happen is you might get donations in, or hopefully you will get donations in, that are earmarked for the scholarship fund. So how are you going to tell QuickBooks that? You're going to use the subclass, okay? So what I'm going to do is, I think I've already done a deposit here. Some people use just a traditional bank deposit. Here's one right here that I've already done. And date this the last month. All right, so let's say we got contributions from individuals. I don't have a separate income account called scholarship fund. I'm using the class to track that. See, I put it to the scholarship fund right there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and save that. So that's what some people do. That was $1,250. I'm going to save and close. What some people do, though, they use the forms in QuickBooks, okay? So if you use the sales forms in QuickBooks, like a pledge or a sales receipt, then I'll go ahead and enter some more money from, let's put it from this person here. And down here, I'm going to use individual contributions. I'm not using my product service item, okay, for scholarships, because I'm not, this is just the fund. This is just the money coming in. It's a donation, so I just put it to individual contributions. But I say that it has to do with the scholarship fund by pointing it to that here. Okay. You can also do that if you use the if you get donations in that are for the scholarship fund and you use the bank feed window to enter stuff. You can also use the subclass there. But anyway, now I'm going to stop for a second and let's see if we can see a report of all the money that came in for the scholarship fund. So this becomes pretty easy to do. There's a lot of ways of doing it, but if I just click on class right here, and I just run a report of the scholarship fund, and I just make the date range all dates, it's going to give me all the ins and outs of the scholarship fund. So we've gotten in $1,250. Oh, that sales receipt, you may have realized, I forgot to put a dollar amount in on it. Let me go back to that sales receipt that I entered. Yeah, I never put a dollar amount in it. So let's say it was $250 somebody gave me. Okay, and if they gave me more that wasn't related to the scholarship fund, I could put it on the second or the third line or whatever. All right. So let me refresh this window. And then now we've got $1,500 in the scholarship fund. Okay, so you can very easily do a report and see how much you have in the scholarship fund. Now let's use some of it. Okay, now if you are invoicing for your registrations, your tuitions or whatever directly out of QuickBooks, then you'll need to use the sales form in QuickBooks. And I'm going to go ahead and go to an invoice form. And it's either going to be called invoice or pledge, depends upon how you set up your books. So let's say we have, let's pick Jessica. So Jessica, I want to invoice her because she's going to come to this camp. So I've got, let me just type camp. Okay. So I'm going to type on the invoice camp registration gross. And I'm going to put the total amount of the camp registration. Let's say camp is $350 is what I normally charge. Now, what class should I put here? Well, the class that I put here is not the scholarship fund, but rather just the camp conference. Okay, all this is how much I normally charge for the camp. Okay, so I'm putting it to the camp conference class. But then I'm going to discount it. So now I'm going to use, just type in camp again. I can just type the name of the category and all the product services underneath it appear. So it makes it easy to find. Here's scholarships used. And let's say I am going to give them a discount of minus I'll say minus $300. Okay. Now, that $300 is coming out of the scholarship fund, okay? So that means their invoice is actually $50. They will be able to see it if I actually send it to them. I'm going to go ahead and save that. And now I'm going to go back to my class quick report. I'm going to refresh it. And now I'll see I only have $1,200 left. You see how it's discounting, it's showing this is the total, I've discounted this is how much is left, okay? This is all the money that came in is what I mean, and this is the money that I use. So I have $1,200 left in the fund. So that's pretty cool. But what I really think is cool is I want you to see what it looks like on the statement of activity. But yeah, let me just do that now. So I'm going to go to the statement of activity for the month of June, and I should have done both of these. Let me backdate this. I'm sorry. Well, I won't do that because it's going to take too much time. I'll just go back to I'll go to my statement of activity. And I'll make it 7-9. That's where I entered some more stuff. Okay, so right now I don't have any activity in here, but I'm going to click Run Report. And now what you'll see is I see for this time period, my gross was $350. The amount that was used was $300, and so my net camp registrations are $50. So see, now when I look at a P&L, I can see the net, but I can also see how much I used of registrations, which I think is really, really cool. Okay. Now, this is if you're somebody that needs to enter invoices in QuickBooks, then we've shown you how to do it. But what if you have all that stuff in an outside software database? And you're not really entering that individual stuff. You're just kind of entering it in lump form. So basically what that means is you're not really doing the invoices in QuickBooks. You're doing them somewhere else. When the money comes in, you're probably just entering it or adding it from the bank transactions. So let's go over to the bank transactions, the bank feeds. And for those of you that are using an outside database, when you're adding transactions here, here's one right here, $5,100. You can, if you click here and click split, then this $5,100, you can say, you know what? That was actually registrations of 6,000. So I can do the same thing that I did with the invoice, but I'm just going to do it globally. I'm going to pick gross camp registrations. Now, of course, you'll need to find a report in your third-party app that tells you, yeah, we got in 6,000 for the Synergy conference. Well, we didn't get it in, but that's what we billed. But the discounts that were used, less scholarships used, were minus $900. And then this came out of the scholarship fund. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and post that. Hopefully I posted it. Yep. Okay. So let's go back to the class report, and I'm going to refresh this, and let's see what happened. There it is. There's the $900 right there. So now there's only $300 left. Okay. It's at the top because the date of this was before. It's in date order here. But anyway, so there's the $900. So now we only have $300 left. Okay. So, and if I look at the statement of activity, I'm just going to go ahead and refresh this again. Now you'll see 663.50 minus 1,200. The total camp registrations net is 5,150. Just for those of you that are wondering, if you did this report by class, if you look at the scholarship fund, you can see 1,500 came in, 1,200 went out. I have 300 left to use. Okay. And the very last thing that I want to point out, see 300 left to use. So let's say it's the end of the month now, and you are wanting to get the board ready, get the board report ready. And on the statement of financial position, you'd like something down here that tells them what the balance is in the fund. So I taught this a couple of weeks ago when I did the Tracking Funds webinar, but I'll just show you again. You'll need to do a journal entry at the end of each month, adjusting the equity funds to the right balance, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and do a journal entry to basically, right now the fund has nothing in it because all this activity happened last month. It was a brand new fund, we'll say. So I need to make it be 300. So I'm going to go to my journal entry screen here under Plus New, and I'm going to do a journal entry. As soon as the window opens up, this is complicated stuff, I know, but you can watch this again later. So we'll do an entry as of the last day of the month, June 30. I should have made all the transactions dated June 30, my bad. But so this time I'm going to type scholarship. I'm going to look for the equity account. Here it is, scholarship fund. I'm going to make it go up $300. This is going to be to adjust equity account to reflect fund balance. Okay. And then the other side of it, I'll go back to the financial position. I basically have to take it out of unrestricted net assets. Okay. That's going to be my plug account, unrestricted net assets. I taught this at the webinar a couple weeks ago, but we'll go back to the journal entry. And so the other side of it will be unrestricted net assets. And so I'm taking it out of unrestricted net assets and putting it to donor restricted net assets. And I think that's it. We don't have to put classes on this. Anytime you do a journal entry that is between equity accounts, you don't have to put a class. Okay. So then I'm going to go ahead and save that. And then when I run the the balance sheet for the board will also see the balance in the scholarship fund. And then the way the board's going to read this is it's going to say, okay, we've got, 97 in cash. We have some other assets here. We owe some money. But out of that 97 in cash, 25,000 of it is restricted, okay? And 300 is restricted for the scholarship fund. And if they want to look at what's gone on just for the organization in total, this is what the board would see. I'm just kind of showing you again. You'd run a P&L compared to budget, and they're going to see the gross less the scholarship used. People like that, okay? They like to see that. And again, if you want to see the balance in the fund, the board will just look at the balance sheet here, but the activity, you just do a class quick report, and it'll give you all the ins and outs. I think that's it. That was a lot. If you're still with me, God bless you. Just a reminder, we have our 3-day webinar series coming up, live webinars. And I'm sorry, not 3-day. It's a 3-day series, but it is called the Advanced NonProfit QBO Summer 3-Pack, okay? It's coming up on August 19th, 20th, and 21st, 2 hours a day for all 3 days. So, and they'll be the same people each day. So, y'all will be the same people. So we're teaching advanced AP and expense tracking in and outside of QBO on day 1 using AI. We're using mastering QuickBooks bank feeds. Okay, that's something a lot of people, I think, need help with. And we're going to do that on day 2. And then day 3, getting ready for year end, prepping for a 990, and prepping for an audit. And we're going to have a whole session where you are going to be able to talk to the auditors, which is me. I'm an auditor. And then I have my peer reviewer coming on with me. He's an auditor as well. So you can ask the experts, ask us auditors, rather than asking your own auditor and risk getting your organization in trouble or looking foolish. You can just ask us. But anyway, so I think there's a discount code somewhere around here for this thing, and hopefully I will see you there, and I hope you like the tip. See you later.